Hey, Steve Zook, welcome back to Pokesoo channel on YouTube and the Guitar Ladder System. Really love the sound of this guitar. I'll sell this guitar for $8.99. I got a gig bag, new gig bag goes with it. Very, very limited production of these made with the rosewood, and they really sound good. Anyway, what I want to talk about today a little bit is, this is one of the most difficult things I've ever had to explain, because if you say you know exactly how art is created, you don't know. It's a Zen thing. It's a subconscious thing. I mean, you can understand the elements. This is very difficult to explain, but I'm going to give it a shot here. You can understand the elements and the components and a lot of the pieces of music and theory and things like that, but in terms of spontaneous creation and spontaneous art and the art of learning about art, okay, there's an art to learning about art, and there's a lot of very subtle components to it. And that's what's so powerful about the Guitar Ladder System. Lately, a lot of people are just going to stevesatguitars.com. They're feeling the hunch. They're not fighting it. They're understanding. It's seriously probably the best $1.99 you'll ever spend. They're just going to stevesatguitars.com. Excuse me. They're buying the course and making a very wise decision, because you're not going to, nothing ventured, nothing gained, But the point I want to make today is I have a video called the 10 Systems of Improvisation. You can look for it on YouTube. But one of the things I've learned when I observe my own playing a little bit, and it's funny, I've been running into some people at the park lately when I walk that have recognized me. It's kind of funny. But anyway, is that, you learn to think in terms of chord families. Now that I'm not negating the 10 systems of improvisation, which are all included in my guitar ladder studies. It could be diatonic, 1, 6, 2, 5, adding substitutions, I'm just going to, chromatic improvisation, kind of symmetric ideas. You do something and then you repeat the same pattern in a different place. Intervallic, learning to move chords in intervals like here, perfect fourths. Partials. Common tone improvisation. You're repeating a note. A diatonic thing where you're kind of going up, a scale, a chord scale. The major, minor, minor. I don't want to go through the whole thing right now, but it's major, minor, minor, major, dominant, minor, minor 7 flat, 5 major, using some of that. But my point being is, like, if you work on my guitar ladder studies and you don't overanalyze them, you start to input these different systems of improvisation into your subconscious mind. And sometimes when I watch myself improvise on YouTube, and I even notice this as I'm playing, it's a very subtle thing. I'll be playing sometimes, and all of a sudden I'll get an idea of somewhere I want to go, like soon in my improvisation. But I'll get it. I'll get the idea in terms of a group of chords. Like a while back, all of a sudden I heard something to the something like that. But you begin to hear groups of chords as a way to connect to something else. It's really cool. And you don't get this by, if you're all, like Joe Pass says, if you're always thinking when you're playing, you're going to miss the boat. Art is a spontaneous kind of creation. It's kind of a spontaneous Zen thing. It's kind of letting the universe, the one mind, God, whatever you want to call it, play through you. But you need to have fertile soil for that to happen. That's why with my guitar ladder studies, you actually build up a musical ear. You build up a musical reservoir of ideas on how chords come and go together. And then cycle 2 uses the shading. Cycle 8, every cycle has different, it's almost like little tunes, things it teaches you. That's why I always tell people, especially when you work in the guitar ladder system, even from the very beginning, you learn cycle 1. See what you can add to cycle 1, even if it's as simple as moving down a chord chromatically 2 or 3 steps. It can be that simple, and don't be results oriented, because you learn how to think in terms of chord. Like the other day, I was just chilling on my bed, and I have a lot of guitars in my office. I think I've got about 30 guitars in here at least. And I was staring at a guitar neck on the wall, and I started seeing patterns. I started seeing patterns like that. Or I'd look at it a different way, and I'd actually see this. Or I'd look at it another way and see. You start to see and hear chords in groups, and sometimes you hear this group of chords that then will connect to something else. And in fact, I had this conversation with Alan Holdsworth on the phone once. We used to talk a little bit because he was using one of my products, the Speed Pick made by Dunlap, who also markets the Zookies, and those are ideas that I designed. But anyway, Alan Holdsworth was saying nothing makes him more happy than to listen back to his playing and hear him do something he's never done before. He calls it a subconscious release. And I noticed that in my playing a while back. I was listening to myself improvise, and all of a sudden I noticed something I did that got me to another chord, and I just let go and let it happen. But if I wouldn't have put in that study of the different chordal groups, like my guitar ladder studies are, if I wouldn't have studied these little sections of chord families and how to put chords together in a musical way that creates a tension and resolution that's unique depending on that chord, on the chords that are put together in that way. And my studies are very musical, and they stretch the musical ear. They make the musical ear thirsty. Key point, guys. And if any of this is resonating with you, trust me, just go to stevezookguitars.com, invest in $199. You're really going to be glad you did. You do not have to be a member of PayPal. Let's get you going. Let's move you forward. Let's take your talent and your love of guitar playing seriously. And I don't have some cute thing like, the guitar. I watch these videos of people that have some cute way to explain, the pitfalls you fall into as learning guitar. And most of it just, come on, It's all, you're going to get what you put into it, guys. But that's the key factor. If you learn a system of learning guitar playing and learning improvisation, which is really the key to massive growth, is chordal improvisation. If you learn about chordal improvisation, you're going to have have tremendous growth. But you've got to give yourself that foundation. You've got to learn those components, learn those chord families. And when you begin to learn chord families, then your own subconscious mind, you could be sleeping and it's piecing together. It might be thinking, gee, this can go to here, this can go to here, this can go to here. Use a 13 flat 9 idea. Use a polychord idea. But this happens on a subconscious level. That's why I say, if you need to learn to build that foundation, learn the 10 systems of improvisation in a very organic way, to where they become a subtle thought in your mind, not like, okay, now I'm going to play diatonic, now I'm going to play. Now, there is a way that you can everything's a paradox. Sometimes when you practice, you might get stuck. Maybe you get stuck on a chord, and so you think, okay, where can I go from here? At that, when you're doing that kind of practice, it's okay to think, okay, common tone, common tone, I'm using that G, or 1 6 2 5, flat 5 sub, chromatic, whatever. But when you're improvising and you're letting go and you're not trying to control things, that's where the magic really happens, folks. And that's where the seeds of composition have the fertile soil as well. So what happens is sometimes you learn to think in terms of groups of chords, and Joe Pass used to say the same thing. But there's nothing that can make you happier than when you, and this happens naturally. It happens at different points of time for different people with the guitar ladder system. But what happens is sometimes you'll be working one of my studies, and all of a sudden you'll just take off. And you'll just start playing something else, and I want you to do that. But it's the foundation, the components, but this whole, I'm trying to explain something very difficult to explain, which is the spontaneous art. So when you learn these different chordal studies, they kind of end up in your subconscious mind in a folder. And then when you're improvising, not saying practicing improvising where you're actually stopping, okay, I'm going to go perfect fourth from here to here to here to here, But just like say if I just wanted to, and I'm just improvising, you begin to hear places your improvisation can go, and then you go there. And sometimes what's really fun is you'll come up with something that you've never ever played, but it connects one section to another section. It just sounds so cool. It sounds so fresh. It sounds more unpredictable. You might actually be playing something that no other guitar player has ever played, which is really cool. Not saying you can play things. I mean, you can do things that other people have done, and that's really cool and meaningful too. But when ideas start rolling out of your subconscious mind that are unique to your musical understanding, to your own unique musical point of view, it is really fulfilling and really joyful. It's better than any alcohol or drug on the planet. I don't drink alcohol. It's a long story. I never had a problem with it. I have a son that had some issues with it. But anyway, I think it kind of dulls you. I'm more into meditation, consciousness development, metaphysics. I've been doing transcendental meditation for 37 years. But my point is, when you learn these different chordal studies in the guitar ladder system, there's about 100 of them. I don't send them all at once. We do a little bit at a time. You begin to develop a musical ear, a musical mind, and your musical ear gets thirsty, and your musical mind learns how to connect groups of chords together. You learn to improvise all up and down the neck in chords. And then you might be doing something, and all of a sudden you'll play something that you've never done, but it just connects a couple sections and just sounds so beautiful. And that's what the guitar ladder system is all about. I've studied extensively the science of neuroplasticity, which is the way that the subconscious mind, isn't this a beautiful guitar? $8.99. Subconscious mind works. These were made in very limited numbers. It's an Ibanez AF95, not a normal one. Now they made very few in the Rosewood. But anyway, the thing is, you begin to, create a musical mind. You feed your musical ear. You make your musical ear thirsty, and then you learn to let go when you're improvising. Because you can improvise in a practice form where, like I said, you may end up on a chord, but the more you work the guitar ladder system, this all begins to happen more naturally, and you begin to kind of gravitate, because there's a direction, almost like going downhill on a bike. There's a direction when you start learning chords in terms of groups of chords that are musical when you put them together that way, and they create a certain effect and a certain musical mood and tension when you put them together that way. And then you begin to find ways to hook those chord groups together, and oftentimes that just happens, subconsciously. It's just really a great feeling. It's a great high. Nothing better on the planet. So, if any of this makes sense to you, my suggestion is to just go ahead and go to steveszookguitars.com, invest some $1.99. You're really going to get a lot out of it, but according to the science of neuroplasticity, and I know this sounds like a paradox, but I mean, the way we've learned to learn in Western culture is really pretty anti-productive. It's all about grades and this, and you got a D, you got an F, you got an A, you got to learn this rule, you got to learn this rule. Fuck all that shit, It's about learning in a more intuitive, organic fashion, learning how to be musical, learning the 10 systems of improvisation, learning to make your ear thirsty, and then your own subconscious mind, even when you're sleeping or doing something completely different, it's beginning to piece things together and find ways to be musical. There's nothing like it. So if any of this makes any sense to you, and the guitar ladder system, by the way, is more for intermediate and advanced players. I've had some pretty interesting advanced players buy my system too. I've even had people with record deals buy it because they're smart. They realize they want to continue to grow and they want to feed their musical ear. But anyway, if any of this makes sense to you, go to steveszookguitars.com. Just feel good about it. Feel good about getting your credit card out or your debit card. Feel great about investing only $1.99 to really feed your musical ear, your musical life, and bring out your God-given musical talents. I think I'll stop right there. And yeah, this guitar is available, $8.99. It's not a normal AF 95. It's the Rosewood one. You don't see these too much. They're really hard to find, and they sound unbelievable. But anyway, so if you really want to take a quantum leap, and don't let that term scare you, because the quantum leap is natural. It's like going downhill on a bike. It's natural. When you begin to feed your subconscious mind the right material, it just latches onto it and runs with it very easily and effortlessly. You just need to work my chordal studies, not analyze them, not think about them. Just do them and listen. Don't try to figure anything out, and you'll be off and running. All right, folks. Let's all keep the positive faith. And remember, positive faith activates an alignment with the abundance, prosperity, and miracle-giving power of the universe. So positive faith, let go of the control. Don't let all the crazy stuff on planet Earth bum you out. The universe is still perfect by design, and you're a spiritual being unfolding in time with unlimited potential. Ciao.